In this video, I'm going to talk about the fact that I did not hit my quota this month for the sales job I have by a long shot, and the lessons I've learned as a consequence of that, what I'm going to do different moving forward. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Duncan Alderdice, and the reason I'm making these videos is to document the journey I take as I become who I am by making small improvements to my life every single day. So today, the sales job that I work, it's for a company where essentially sell a qualified lead system for financial advisors. This month, I haven't even come close. If I have to either close 12 advisors or hit 16,000 in revenue. And I closed 7 advisors, which is like more than halfway, but only it only amounted to like 7,000 in revenue. So like $1,000 each, because they're all in the lowest tier. And I think I know why. The reason really is because my activity was down. I was sick at the beginning of the week, and by sick I mean I was drinking as a consequence of that. So I wasn't on my game to the same degree that I was earlier, which took a dip. And so in the end, I did hold 44 of the 55 demos I need to hold in the month to close, and last month I held 50. But most of that came at the end of the month, and there's a lot of those deals that have held this week that have potential to close next month, that had I been active earlier in the month, then there would be more deals that, like, if I hosted that first week, then the second and third week or fourth week it closes, or that second week, second and fourth, just whatever. So it's still on me there. The 5 marketing demos I had today weren't great, but again, they are hit and miss. I have closed some of those. At least they're given to me, and what I can do differently is just book some for myself. I am frustrated at the fact that I did have an 8 o'clock this morning who no-showed me. Oh, that's actually, yeah. And I'm frustrated because this was one I booked for myself through LinkedIn. They sent a, I've scheduled them for last Friday at noon, then they rescheduled for this Friday at 8, and then they didn't show up, so I called multiple times, no answer at all. That was really frustrating. On the day though, I did make, let's see how many dials I made. I made 113 dials overall. I think one thing that I'm gonna actually start doing again is say the amount of dials and demos I booked during the day, during these videos, because I stopped doing that because I focused the videos into a different direction, but I think that habit actually keeps them top of mind, and when I say them out loud, I feel like I have to keep them up. And again, I need to play that 150 dial, 3 book demos, or 6 demos held, or 1 deal closed. Technically I booked 2 today, but I need to do that again, which I didn't do last month. I did get a little cocky, seeing as I, like, LinkedIn booked a lot of demos, but they all weren't great for myself, but just, so I just need to change that sort of behavior. The one thing I am tilting more in the direction of is continuing to be, I'm gonna call it, to be disrespected by the prospect. Things like rescheduling and then not showing up and not having any sign of life. Things like saying that they're gonna buy and then not showing up for the follow-up. Things like just asking the information and then just like fucking off. I need to get a bit more of an edge, and not, like, I don't know, like, disrespect is the harsh word, just to kind of prove it, but not bend to their will. Not so much bend to their will, but not give them control. But when I cooperate with what they'd like, it doesn't result in a better outcome. I need to make sure that I'm doing my process. And if they don't want to cooperate with that process, then what I'm learning is, by refusing to have the conversation, and like it's going to be contentious and then the call's going to fail, I'm not losing opportunity, because had I just succumbed, like went with what they wanted, they weren't going to buy anyways. And it's not advantageous for me to give up control of the conversation. I need to do my thing, and if they don't want to do the thing, that's fine, then we're just not going to have the call. Because there was a follow-up I had today that was frustrating. Bit of a condescending kind of guy in his tone and delivery, and like he had the camera angled like down, and it was like, I'm gonna think about it kind of thing. but not giving a realistic timeline. Like, yeah, I'll be by Wednesday, Thursday next week. And like, I can notice when I lose control of the conversation, when it just turns into question and answering. It's tough. I don't know how to structure a follow-up effectively, but it was a video call as well. Regardless, moving forward, what I'm learning is I need to increase the activity so that I for sure have deals that are coming in within my control, and ensure that I stick to the process that I know works, and stick to the process that I know works. I'm going to do that moving forward. And it's not so much no point, like treating them with respect, but don't, like, I think it's more this. If I'm there's some people who I had a conversation with, then a follow-up with, and then I'm going like, well, what's preventing you from moving forward? And they're like, nothing, we just got to think about it, or just got to check some things. And it's like, okay, cool, follow-up scheduled. And then that follow-up 15 minutes before I get a text being like, hey, sorry, something came up. And then I'm like, oh yeah, no problem, when do you want to reschedule? No answer. Call twice, no answer. And like, email, no answer. Call a bunch of times, and I'm thinking, going like, is it okay for me to call them? And then I'm going now more of the, no, you agreed, the conversation that was had was, you will show up here. And then you didn't, and then I've heard nothing from you. So then it's like, that isn't mutually respect. The other thing that I'm curious about is whether or not it's just more effective for me to just assume that's going to happen, and then not take it personally. So this is the point I'm trying to get to. In not taking it personally and not being surprised when it happens, is in part going like, okay, then I'll keep calling you until I get in touch with you again. And it's not a get back, it's just that's just what I have to do. It's the nature of the game. And yep, don't take it personally, I'm not trying to be super aggressive. It just is, if I don't consistently follow up with you, I won't do so. So I think it's just figuring out how to detach myself, not from the outcome. Like I know I'm capable of smashing quota. So then it's like, how do I get to the point where this shit that is annoying doesn't phase me anymore. But yeah. And yeah, it's the weekend of move this weekend. I'll do an apartment tour tomorrow. A quick one. Well, I mean, of course it'll be quick. Oh, but the other thing that I just want to say, like, as a thing is, I find, I don't know, like, I think it is good to, whenever you have a contentious conversation with a colleague, coworker, or friend, I just like the way that sounds, you should always have a conversation that follows that contentious conversation of conflict, where you get closure on it. I know for me, that in-between stage, I'm always thinking about the conversation, like no matter what, like always ruminating on it. And once the closure occurs, then there's a sense of relief. So I like doing that. So if you're watching this video right now and are currently in some sort of conflict with a friend, consider initiating the closure by extending the olive branch, and maybe apologize for what it was that you did wrong, or find a way to see what you did wrong with the situation, because that will make it easier and for the other person to feel comfortable making that a consensus, consummation, contention, consolidation, consensus, compromise. I'm missing the point. I'm hot now, all of a sudden, because it's fucking hot in here. Commission, not commission. The thing I was trying to say is lost. If you apologize first, it's easier for the other one to apologize. And that ultimately gets you to where you like to be, is the harmony that you were before the conflict had arisen. Yeah, that's that. It's hot. I'm actually going to be the next, after this weekend, I will be living in Montreal. That's pretty cool. Clementine Club, thanks for sticking around as always, and remember to believe in yourself, because you're more capable of doing great things than you give yourself credit. I'll talk to you later.